you know, one of my favorite characters ever is Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, and I thought her holiday costume would be perfect for this year's Christmas theme. Now, it is the 2nd of December today, and I actually have not finished my last cosplay. The clever thing would be just like not to make anything difficult this year, and that would be what a responsible person would do. The question remains, am I a responsible person? Okay, I think we need to start planning now. And you must be thinking, Alice, you have plenty of time, you've done this before, you were able to make a Mortal Kombat cosplay in just 2 weeks, you're definitely gonna do it on time. I kind of forgot to mention, I'm actually going to Spain to spend some time with my family in 4 days. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. It is the 2nd of December, but it is 1 year later, the 2nd of December, so I definitely did not finish this cosplay on time. But I'm gonna show you how I made the buttons. Better late than ever, right? I recorded this video last year when I was making my Tifa cosplay, and I decided this is a great example to show you the amount of time it actually takes to design a cosplay and to make the buttons for it. Because I know I make it look easy, but it's actually not, and most people underestimate the amount of work it takes just to get to the sewing part. So let's go into a pattern making adventure. Welcome to my fabric stash. The good thing about being a cosplayer for so long is that you end up with a big collection of fabrics and bits and pieces, and I am hoping I can find all the materials for this cosplay in my stash because honestly, I don't have time to go shopping for more, so oh no. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that if you are making a cosplay and also trying to record how you are making a cosplay, you will probably end up spending way more time making that cosplay. And yes, I do have a lot of fabric, but it is kind of all over the place, so I don't always find the things that I'm looking for first try. Choosing the fabric itself can also take a while, in particular if you have to go hunting for it to the shops. Fortunately, I already have a good collection at home. This used to be the carpet in the nativity that we used to do in my town when I was little, and I used to be the angel. Yeah, I've been dressing up for a long time. But yeah, it just happened to be in my house. We don't do that anymore, or I don't know if they do it anymore, but yeah, for many years I was the angel in the nativity play the day of Christmas, and I thought this would be the perfect Christmas fabric to make our Christmas cosplay. So yeah, some wins. I probably should wash that. Now, I'm usually ready in advance and I have all the patterns already prepared for my cosplay, but this is kind of like a rush project and I have nothing prepared. However, I have all these patterns from previous projects and I am hoping I will be able to find something that suits this cosplay. Oh, it's very heavy. Yes, I have made a lot of cosplay patterns, and you can find them all on my website, including the one for this project that should be out by the time you watch this video. Okay, let's make a quick round of patterns. For the top t-shirt, I have my backless bodysuit pattern, which I have used before also for Ganyo and for Jaemiko. I'm just gonna make it a bit longer because instead of making it, or maybe I don't know if I'm making a bodysuit or just making it a bit longer because it's gonna be quicker if I do it a bit longer. So that's one. Then we have, for the skirt, I've got this base pattern that I made for just a simple skirt. This is gonna be coming very soon to my shop, and it's just like base patterns that you can modify to do anything. But I also have this other pattern from the same kind of base, which is for a wrap skirt. So I may be able to modify this one because it's already like a little bit wrapped. So yeah, I never released this pattern, but I also have that. Now I have a cat on top of the pattern because, you know, they are trained. If they see a pattern, they just sit on top. You know, train your cats, you won't be bored a single day in the world. And then I also have this circle skirt. I do have a circle skirt bundle. I actually printed this one twice because it was going to be the base for that cosplay, but I didn't like it. So I can cut it and modify it, and I have no issues with that. And finally, somewhere here, I also have my Santa hat, which is actually a free download in my page if you are in need of a Santa hat. Otherwise, it's just a very easy pattern as well. And I think that's everything I need. Probably I'm also going to need a glove pattern, which I also have. So that should be most of it. Let's go and start drafting the changes I need to make to this pattern so they work for my cosplay. Or maybe I should just start just cutting pieces that I know that are going to work. I don't know, let's do something because I don't have time to think about it. I have been making patterns for many years now, so I do have good bases for most things. But I still had to heavily modify a bunch of things and create quite a few from scratch as well. Pattern making is all about taking measurements, doing maths, and trying again until you find a shape that works, but also trying to make it realistic and comfortable. I used patterns from at least 4 different projects to get this one done. And keep in mind, I've been doing this for years, so I'm relatively quick, but this still takes a lot of time. I already have a big library of patterns, but if I had to start from zero, this will have taken me weeks. And did I mention that pattern making involved maths? Like lots and lots of maths and measuring and just making sure the lengths are correct and the proportions are correct. Yeah, it's very joyful. I love it. My favorite part ever. Okay, I secretly enjoy it a little bit, but sometimes I wish there was someone else making patterns for some of the cosplays I want to make. Pattern making is all about taking measurements, doing maths, drawing on the paper, and try again until you find a shape that works, but also trying to make it realistic and comfortable. And eventually, I'll still have to transfer it all to fabric and realize I still need to do more changes. You know all those ASMR videos in which they just do things like very nicely? That's not me, I'm chaos. I try to show you the best of me, but it's not true. I am chaos. This is how it actually happens. Need a little bit of help? Being a cosplayer is so glamorous. I do use a lot of repurposed fabric because fabric can be expensive, so I try to save as much as I can. This is a bolt of curtain fabric someone gifted to me, and I am going to use it for my mock-ups. This is the first attempt at the skirt. I'm actually quite happy. It does look like skirt still, which I'm surprised. I did a few modifications on the paper pattern, but as you can see, if you look at the reference, that is gonna be a wider gap, and I'm thinking that this probably should be about here, so I can show a little bit more. So I just need to just make a few changes. That would look better, and possibly here. That would show more leg. So that is the reference, and that is the gap which I think I want to have in this skirt. So yeah. However, I'm not going to do the changes just yet because I want to make sure I have the corset so I can see it all together, because depending on how high the corset is, maybe this has to change, maybe this is too low or too high. So I'm just gonna leave it here for now. I'm gonna try to pattern everything. It's always a good idea to have a reference for everything just in case I don't wanna cut more fabric than I need to, but it's a very good start. So I believe this is gonna be next to the corset, the most difficult part, and I don't think the corset is going to be so difficult because I'm just gonna make it so it ties at the front, so if there's a little bit of a gap in there, I'm gonna be able to hide it. So let's just carry on. Mock-ups are a very important part of the pattern making process, and if you can't see a fabric version of a pattern, I wouldn't trust that because chances are they are not going to fit. I also do not trust 3D programs to do my patterns. Same way I don't trust my dress font for the final fit, because you need to wear your patterns on a real body with bones and flesh to know if it's going to work or not. Programs can assist, but ultimately you are gonna need to test it on a real body. You cannot believe what just happened. I just got a delivery and it is a new sewing machine. This is my Christmas present to myself. I wasn't expecting it till next week and I'm very happy because I'm gonna be able to use it with denim. This is a heavy duty machine which should be a little bit better than the one I've got. I was struggling a little bit with it lately because it can't do very heavy seams, but hopefully this one will work a little bit better. And I can't wait to use it. Yay! I hope you get to know. A new sewing machine. You get to play with it. Yes. Yeah. It is day 2. Yesterday I managed to technically finish all the patterns, which is quite good. To be honest, I was expecting just to spend most of the day just doing patterns. Patterns is usually what takes the longest. So yeah, pretty happy because they look quite good. And ideally I would have liked to do 2 pieces of the cosplay, even if it was like some of the small ones. But I did not, which means now I'm gonna have to do 3 pieces a day for the first 2 days, or for 2 of the days, in order to finish this on time. Yeah, doing well. But before I do that, the most important thing is to put the heater on because it's very freezing in this room and I don't have central heating, so let's do that. Yes, for the last 5 years, I have been making patterns on the freezing cold. The working conditions at my place are trash. And just now I was able to afford the radiators, or rather the bank is the owner of the radiators for a while. Never mind. But if you think we were done pattern making, you were wrong. There is always a lot of extra details to test and to finish, and you need to make sure they fit all together because you can't put random pieces and expect them to fit. I usually test different sizes to see which one looks best, and most of the time I do this on my computer because it saves me time later when I have to digitize the patterns. But here I was just doing it the traditional way because I was in a hurry and I just wanted to finish it sooner. By computer or by hand, a cosplay has way more pieces than your average pattern, so you can expect it to take longer. And of course you also need to make sure all the pieces match each other, because if they are too long or too narrow or too wide, they may not work as intended and you may need to start from scratch. Time to figure out some accessories. And of course, testing the pieces together is also very important. Measuring the amount of fabric you need too. And do not forget to try it on, because a mannequin is not going to behave like a real person. I always expect more changes when I try my cosplays. And of course, I need to modify the patterns to reflect these changes too. After about 20 hours of just pattern making, you may end up with something like this. And keep in mind, I started from pieces that I already owned and I already knew that matched my body. If you don't have this, it's gonna take you even longer. Okay, yesterday did not go according to plan. I did manage to finish all these details, or the pattern for the details. As I always say, what takes the longest in a cosplay is to create the pattern and make sure it fits. So the rest, it's just like putting things together like a puzzle, but still, yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to finish this on time. I didn't finish it. I need to finish the t-shirt, at least that work. This part is almost done, but I have to finish everything else. And I'm leaving in 2 days. So let's go to plan B. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish everything. I'm gonna try to finish as many pieces as I can if I have time, but I'm just gonna focus on finishing the denim skirt underneath, because if I have the skirt and the top, I can still arguably do a photo shoot with my friends, and that should be okay. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I would like to have something done. As long as I finish the skirt, I will be happy, and if I finish anything else, that's going to be a bonus, but it is what it is. Hopefully I can do a little bit of progress and just finish a couple of parts, and if I finish the skirt, that is already a lot, so I will be happy, and I don't need to kill myself for cosplay, so yeah, let's just carry on. Needless to say, I did not finish this cosplay on time for Christmas, and I actually did have a few issues with my new sewing machine as well. Jesus Christ! What the hell is this? But that is going to be part of my making of video, and you wanted to know more about the pattern making process, right? Assuming that I already know that my pattern fits and it's gonna work correctly, it is time to digitize it. But drawing the patterns is quite boring, so instead I'm just going to show you how I make my technical drawings. Just to give you an estimate, just this one sketch took 1 hour to finish. And of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I just showed you the pretty parts. Because I don't only make patterns for myself, I also try to help as many cosplayers as possible. So there are other many things to do, like sizing the patterns, making cool graphics, writing the instructions, editing tutorials. This is a full-time job on itself. And yes, I spend more time behind a computer than making cosplays on my sewing room. And I do get many questions asking me what's the magic program that I use to make my patterns, but the reality is there is no magic program that makes the patterns for you. Or rather, there is one, it's called AI, and it makes a terrible job, so I do not recommend it. A good pattern will always need a real human who can test it. And I hope you found the process interesting. In the next video, I will be showing you how I sew this pattern, because that is another thing machines can't do. I hope you like these behind the scenes, and let me know in the comments if you want to see more like this. Until then, see you in the next adventure. Bye! Thank you for keeping them warm.